not a drill, this is not a drill. All warriors, mount up. Proceed to nav point Gamma. Rendezvous with Mobile HQ for tactical and situational analysis. Welcome to the MHQ Podcast.
Hello everybody, this is Jose. I have Bradley and Randall with me. We have a special guest on today from our local BattleTech group over in Clearwater. And Ronald will be joining us a little later. At this point, I'm going to turn it over to Bradley so he can set it up. Go ahead, Brad.
Alrighty, this podcast today is going to be about how to play some big games. One of the biggest things that I saw was when I was playing classic BattleTech back in the 90s and the early 2000s. You really couldn't play large games because it would just take all weekend long. And so I came up with looking for one inside of the scenario book called Dragon's Roar, which is a detailed story of the twilight of the clans where House Kurita forms up with the Starling that reforms, and they go after the Jaguars and they go for the occupation zone. We could have played the smaller battles, which would have only paid 15 on 10 or 12, but I wanted to play something a little bit larger than that, so I chose to go ahead and go all the way to the back, which is known as on page, let me get it there, you gotta scroll through it.
7.
Yeah, 57 starts. Yeah, the Dragon's Coil. Yes. I brought this to Randall's attention as I said, hey, let's do something, play something big and huge. And this right here is the biggest we've ever done as a group. It really is. It had 96 mechs of House Kurita versus 55 of Clan Smoke Jaguar. Nobody got to pick what units they wanted. All units were already listed according to the forces that were allowed. And my question to you, Randall, is when you saw me come to you and say, okay, we're going to play this, and I said, let's do this as teams, did you think that the game went pretty good?
Oh yeah, so first off, I was overwhelmed. 96 units is huge, and that's just for one side. So we were talking 154 units total on the battlefield. So yeah, I was like, this is going to take forever. And it did take a long time. So we did it in one afternoon, one evening. So it went faster than I expected, but still took quite a long time. I would have liked to have been able to, lock it away from the cats and kids and stuff, and continue the next day for at least another 2 rounds. Where we ended, it was like, just need 1 or 2 rounds more so that we could actually do our push and start hitting.
Yeah, it was unsatisfying the way it ended. Yeah, as it did. I agree.
But time was time. I mean, we at that point, how many hours had we done? 8 hours?
No, 4 hours, 4.5 hours.
Yeah, it was 4. It was almost a 5-hour event. You know, I mean,
no,
so what do you think
we started actually playing about 1 o'clock or so, 1:30, yes. And we got done about 6:30, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
So 4.5 hours.
Yeah.
So what did you guys think about the selections that they gave to you?
Interesting.
Yeah. I would say very, very interesting.
The lance of Panthers was kind of interesting. It's like, it's all Panthers. I was like, okay, that is a Kurita thing to do. Just swarm you with garbage units.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do know that most of these are probably done off the rats for those Kurita forces. I know that some of your units and your forces also offered you some unique advantages. What did you think about those advantages? Where
do you want to start? Who do you want to start with?
With you, Randall, because I'm going to talk about the 8th Sword of Light, because you and Emilio were playing the Iragawa 2 battalions, and you had first. He had first, and you had 2nd battalion.
Yeah.
And you had what I'm trying to ask you is, you had a unique built company, 2nd company. What did you think about that being as part of your build?
Yeah, so the 2nd company was a C3 master company, fully built out. All the units interlinked with a Sunder. what was this? The Sunder. I can't remember offhand. I gotta switch to my screen here. Is the Sunder 0B or OB, and it's got two C3 masters in it. Now, I've used C3 before, but this is the first time I've done it with a full company setup. So it's definitely interesting. We also had Naginata in the thing for long range fire support, but it was. My goal was to protect my Sunder because that was the linchpin for the whole force. If that thing went down, then everything else got split up into its own little individual lances. So unfortunately, he stayed fairly far in the back of the field, so wasn't combat effective, except that he was still able to coordinate all the fire at short range once I got into striking range.
Oh yeah, you were definitely beaming the heck out of Steven's side of his binary assault binary that he had on his side of the hill. I mean, but his force could take it. He had the armor. That was definitely there. As far as you, Ron, Jose, what did you think about your Sword of Light force?
I was a little disappointed that I only had 2 companies. Everybody else had 3. But I was okay with it. I mean, I had a lot of the mechs, but you knew I went ahead and I ordered from Fortress and Ares to get the rest of the mechs because I wanted the actual. I didn't want to have to remember what's playing as what. I wanted the actual mech on the field. So that was an expensive game, but I enjoyed playing with those mechs because I have so many of them that I haven't been able to use in a game because we're normally playing pre-Clan Invasion era when we play, and sometimes Clan Invasion era, but not that late, and not with those particular Kurita mechs. So I liked it.
Yeah, my 3D printer went burr. And I had a lot of things that I had to fill my force with. Yeah. I didn't have any Komodos until then. Now I do. Kintaro, I had one.
Komodo is actually a pretty good mech. Yeah. You guys don't really know that much too much because it's I've played it a lot with Classic. 10 medium lasers. You can't beat that down, and it's got some good heat sinks on it to almost fire all 10 almost. And it's got 2 AMS systems on it, and good luck trying to do damage to that mech. That mech in Classic rocks. I kid you not.
This one had tag also, so that was a big help.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you guys had some good ass battles. Now, as far as the clans were playing, I had given GIF. Their GIF.
He's on mute, but he's here.
Hello?
Hey, can you hear me, GIF?
Yes, I can.
Alrighty. Alright, so first of all, let me ask you a few questions, sir. You are technically a brand new player to Alpha Strike, correct?
Yes. I mean, really, the league that we were in before we did this battle was basically it.
You've never seen an Alpha Strike game as big as this, correct?
Oh my God, no! Heck, just giving me, 3 stars, I was like, wow, that might be a bit much for me. And then I saw the table and I went, oh my God!
Yeah. What sea of red.
Yeah.
I told him, I told him and I told Steven, hey, we're going to get slaughtered. Some people are going to die. And I looked at GIF and I said, that's you. That's your job. I want you to you're going to be positioned at the highest angle. Your job is to, what did I tell you, GIF? You remember?
Not exactly. It's been a little bit, but I was just thinking okay, well, into the meat grinder I go.
Yeah. Point taken right there. Pretty much in a nutshell. And I said to help you a little bit too, I gave him the Star of Elementals to play with as well. So he actually had 4 stars underneath his belt. He did exactly what I wanted him to do. He got in the mix, got into the fight, and as a new player, I wanted him to see how to effectively use elementals. You know, so there's some players that will use them as meat shields, and some players will use them to a tactical advantage. Neither one is wrong. I'm not trying to point fingers like that, but I'd much rather see my elementals die with honor than being used as meat shields. That's me personally. So, Gif, my question to you is, what did you think about the selection of mechs that you were offered?
I mean, I thought they were great. It was a bit interesting having a, story-based thing to have all my mechs pre-selected already for me. So I was running through being like, okay, what am I actually dealing with here? Having to look through all of them rather than being like, ooh, that one looks good and just adding into a list. But besides that, I thought it was pretty good for a light, almost all of them were lights except for I think one star was a bit more towards the heavy side of things.
Yeah, what you had in the command for you was a Adcat Prime, Night Rider A, Vulture Prime, Caliderborn A, Ryokan C, Blackhawk A, Dragonfly B, Hankyu Prime, Rennerus A, Akoshi Prime, 2 Pluma A, and a Prime, a Udler C, and 2 Dashers Prime and a B, plus 5 elementals. I wanted you to have some fun from this because I wanted to expose you to playing bigger games, and I wanted you to learn how to do this. Being that you were new, I was very satisfied that you followed the rules pretty well. You did everything correct. You didn't slow the game down at all, dude. Period. You got right in there and was like, let's fight.
Yeah.
So my question to you is, did you learn anything from being a new player this game that we played?
Definitely. I was really in the thick of it there, was trying my best to make sure that I was doing what you guys needed there to slow them down, make sure you had your appropriate shots, but then also try and maneuver appropriately with this board of mechs in front of me so that I could get a couple hits in, but not immediately just be wiped off the table.
Try to make it as hard as possible for them to hit you. Some people are going to hit you. There's nothing you can do about it because somebody was going to catch the kitchen sink. It definitely was coming, and my whole purpose was to use your force, Trinary Striker, First Jaguar guards, as nothing more than as a meat grinder to slow down at least one flank so I could focus fire on one side of the battlefield. And you did that job fantastic, sir. And you're always welcome to come to our tables events. And by the way, Giffen is also one of the players to pass an actual blood trial. Trial, right? He is a bona fide clan warrior.
Thank you all very much.
And if I had not kept my word to Matthew when he came across all 3 battlefields, I would have blasted his ass in the back and become a clan warrior too.
Hey, that's a legitimate thing. It happened with Aiden Pride, bro. He turned on and he tried to do that exact maneuver and it backfired.
Yeah.
And do any of y'all know who it was that shot him?
Marth Pride.
Yep. Got stabbed in the back by his own Sipkin.
Go ahead.
Didn't you get shot in the face like twice on that thing?
Yeah, I did.
PTC to the face.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
I believe it was both first rounds, right?
Yep, it was the 3rd round. Yep.
All right, so back to this right here. I really appreciate all the players that came out and played this. My goal this year is to show you guys how to play big battles. Let's not be fearful of the numbers on the table, within reason, okay? I'm not going to say you're going to see 108 mechs on my side and 108 on your side, plus tie into this and then no, we don't have all day for that. But I wanted us to show that we could have numerous figs on the table, because like the week when I did that back in December, when we did that blind salvage box event and we saw the Warhammer players playing their game on the other side, it was a continuous, I wanted us to compete, and I do believe we did, because we had a lot of people stopping and seeing what we were doing. And I think we got a lot of people going, wow.
Yeah, and that orc, what was it, Enterprise?
Oh, hell yeah.
Starship Enterprise with the orcs in it. That was hilarious.
Oh, that was awesome.
And that was the centerpiece. I had to take a picture of that, and I sent it to my dad, who's a avid Star Trek fan, and he was like, what is this? I was like, trust me, this is awesome. It's going to be hard to explain it, but zoom in. Like, what the heck are those? I said, those are orcs. He's like, what? I was like, don't worry about it, Dad. I'm just showing you Star Trek in another form.
Bradley, the funny thing is, when over here, I play normally in Armada. I was there yesterday. When we're playing at Armada and we have terrain up, we get a lot of people, what game are you playing? When they're playing Classic and there's no terrain on the battlefield, it's just a hex mech, not a single person walks up to the game. And I've noticed that there, and I think I've seen that also. There's not a lot of people playing Classic or playing Alpha Strike, but I would think we would see that there as well at Critical Hits, because it's the terrain on the battlefield. Even the cardboard houses and the paper trees that
It's also the number.
stand out.
Yeah, absolutely. Both. It's really both. I mean, can a paper map be used in a game? Yes. If it's a one-on-one, but if you see multiple people playing and doing a tournament, some people may stop and watch. But the moment you drop a big old city on a table, or mountain ranges and woods, and make it look like a battle is about to go down, people will stop and go, what is this? I mean,
interesting
awesome.
terrain.
Correct.
Yeah, we did that. TK and I had a match, and the terrain was interesting. We had a big piece in the middle, some woods on the other side. But what caught everybody's eyes is, instead of using king crabs, I had some relatively close to scale AT-AT walkers from Star Wars. So those are the king crabs. Everybody's like, what are you playing? That's BattleTech. That's Star Wars. What?
Why not?
Oh, yeah, I remember that game.
Yeah, that was fun.
All I remember seeing a bunch of, like, Randall, what is that? It's a bunch of ATT walkers going across the table. I'm like, dude. I was like, all right, fine. They're going to die. I just started shooting at the first one. Oh, it was funny. Oh,
So, battlefield setup. So first of all, we had to convert from the paper maps to 3D. So if you were to look at the paper map setup, they had two rolling hills, and they came together, and there's a fairly large open space in between. That looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 hexes. So that's like 18 inches worth of open space. So we tried to get it pretty close to what it looked like with the terrain that we had.
I really think the majority of you guys' casualties came from Emilio trying to charge that open space.
Oh yeah. So we knew that we had like one copse of trees in the middle. That was like our last piece of terrain before we hit completely empty space. Yeah. And we had basically the conga line of doom behind it.
I was up on that hill, man. That hill was no joke. I mean, as far as look at the clan forces that were arrayed against you guys, the force that was giving you guys the most problem was my Trinary Omega from the 267th Battle Cluster, which was nothing supposed to be a bunch of stand and die guys. These were the guys that were going to stand back and let the rest of the clan forces get away. They were going to stand and fight and die. That's what they're supposed to do. And these guys, were just kicking ass, dude. I tell you, I had.
We didn't get that many hits against your guys, I don't think.
Oh, you couldn't hit. We were doing the extreme range.
Yeah.
So at least with that distance, we were playing with extreme range. It kind of still gave the clan player a little bit of an advantage.
A little?
Had a little advantage. If the biggest flaw that I saw, when you got a charge against open terrain, you don't go piecemeal. You send everybody.
Yeah.
You don't send onesies and twosies and threesies, because I'm going to take 2 Riflemen, 2 Cs, the Galahad and the Grizzly, which are all doing almost 5 points of damage apiece, at extended range, they're going to hit you there. I mean, they're going to do 4, because you lose 1 point of damage. I'm going to hit you 4, and in the next turn, when you get closer, I'm going to hit you at full 5, because now you're at long range.
Yep.
And your unit is gone.
And you're standing still behind terrain. We're having to run across open terrain. Oh, it was brutal.
That was pretty hard to deal with. That was the only things that I thought of that could be thing. Now, we were pretty clear on victory conditions, which is laid out in the special rules of this. For victory conditions, the scenario ends when all of the clan forces have been destroyed or have withdrawn from the map. Clan forces understand that they are badly outnumbered, under orders to execute a delaying action. They are attempting to destroy the command lance of each battalion arrayed against them. They will then attempt to withdraw in order to fight another day. During the end phase of the first turn, in which the clan player forces destroy an Inner Spirit Battalion command lance, roll a 1d6. On a result of 1 to 3, the clan player will begin to withdraw forces to the north map edge. On a roll result of 4 through 6, the player will withdraw forces from the southern. And that right there is what ends the game. Victory conditions were as this. Clan player destroys all 3 Inner Spirit command lances and exists 1 or more units off the map. Decisive clan victory. Clan player destroys 1 or 2 command lances and exists 1 or more of its own units off the map. Marginal. Clan player destroys no Inner Spirit lances and does not exit his own force. Clan defeated. I'll tell you this. There's no way that a clan player can get a decisive victory out of that. Period.
Yeah, not if they're playing like a true clan warrior.
No. We almost got 2. And I finally figured out which one was the bodyguard. I was almost ready to smash that freaking Dragonfire once I figured that out. That was actually the named character in that. Of course, I would have killed the overall commander, but it was already too late. We had to withdraw and get out of there after already achieving it. We rolled the dice, and I was like, please don't be going north, because that means I'd have to go into you guys. And I rolled a 6, so we had to withdraw, so we were out of there quick.
Speaking of maps and withdrawals, let's talk about layout. So I had the Izanagi 2nd Battalion. So I had 3 companies on there. I was on our left flank. Jose, what was your force? Yeah, you were center with 2 companies.
Yeah, I felt deprived of a company.
Yeah, we tried to offer. We said, okay, well, we can split off, 8 units, so we'd have an odd number, but we would be equal across the board. But
that's all right.
Yeah, we. So then it was, let's see here. The Izanagi 1st Battalion was Emilio, and he was on the right-hand flank for us. So myself on the left, Jose in the middle, and Emilio on the right.
Right.
So how was your layout set up?
Ooh.
Bradley?
Mine? For
Yeah.
my layout? Okay. What I had decided was in the northern right corner flank, which was going to be up on the right flank, your left flank, I had put Gryphon up there with his force, because we could deploy anywhere on the map. I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to put everything right there and be like, hello. In your face. No, I wanted to, knowing that I had that many units coming at me, A, we're outnumbered, B, your guys are going to be up on us, so try to at least 2 turns being at extended range combat. Try to do that and try to do as much damage as possible, because we were playing with force withdrawal rules too, so if I could crit your units and make you force withdrawal off the map, that's good blessing in itself. Mm-hmm. I don't have to continue to destroy a unit because I've already made that 1 unit back off. So I put Gif up on the right, on my right flank, put Steven to support him in the back with his 2 binary assault. I mean, of all the nastiness that I could produce. His binary force, which was binary BattleForce Jaguar assault. He had a Gladiator Prime, and a War A Dash E Prime, Dash E B, Knight Rider B, 2 Massacres, a Prime and an Alpha, another Dash E, a Mad Cat, a Gladiator. That's a headache. And with that behind, I was hoping GIF would do enough damage to slow you guys down from coming over the hill like a human red wave. And hope that Steven could...
He actually did.
Yeah, like I said, he did a good job because Steven was able to around and ping, 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 hit anything that came over the hills first. So I needed a speed bump. So that happened there. The rest of my force, I turned around and put my Omega Trinary on my left flank to hold it, and used my command Trinary as a center to where I could swing it left or right, depending on what was going on the table, to counter a counter charge coming from a flank, or to provide a cover for units trying to get off that hill, and kind of spread the love around. And that's exactly how I played it out, and it worked.
The other thing is we started with a 12-foot table. And we started the Cronus Combine started 18 inches in?
Yep.
But it was almost wall-to-wall miniature across the board there.
They are elbows. They are
really tight.
Yep.
You're lucky I didn't have any artillery or aerospace fighters to do strafing runs. Oh boy.
Yeah.
I would have loved to have brought my Shaloms. I got 8 of them.
They weren't there, so you couldn't use them. That's just not there.
Yeah.
I'm really glad you guys wanted to get into this. I know I'm crazy about wanting to do big games, but I wanted to show community that hey, A, you can do it. B, have some organization to it. You can take these old scenario books from the days of FASA and turn them into awesome Alpha Strike games. Any of these work. Me and Randall have done battles out of the Battle of Coventry. We turned on and played only with the units that were there. You fought the battles, and then that was it. You don't have to go and do excessive research into it. You don't have to turn around and assign points because everything's there already. You're not worried about is my force balanced or not. It's there for fun most of all, and that's what I want us to do.
But word of warning: if you do try these scenarios, there's some. The authors had some assumptions about what the outcome was going to be. They are not balanced, and they are not likely to have the results that the authors intended.
No.
Yeah.
We learned that when we played the Battle of Coventry. The first 4 battles were just like, Randall was like, dude, I'm done with this. My pilot's getting shot down, and I'm going to land on here, and I'm just going to call a bombing strike. I'm done. And he wind up
nuke him from orbit. Just, you can keep the city. We'll just nuke it. We're Kurita. Get out.
Yep. And it was the 8th sort of light, so they're not like the worst of the Kuritans. That's my 2nd sort of light. They're the dangerous ones.
So organization. So one of the things that I, in my deployment, because we had so many units to move on the Draconis Combine side, one thing that I did is I moved an entire company from the left-hand side to the right-hand side so that we had a split support. So that way, the way we did our initiative is each round of movement, we would move an entire company. So I would move one company, then Amelia would move a company, and then Jose, and then myself, and then Jose, back and forth until we finally got the entire freaking force moved. So what we started doing is splitting up. Didn't we do 2 companies? I thought we did 2.
Yeah, you guys did 2 companies per. We broke it down by commands, and you guys, it was determined that it was 2-to-1 ratio for command elements versus your command elements. And that's how we divulged that, hey, I got X amount of commands, you got X amount of command units. Just move 2 command, and it boiled down correct, you know?
Yeah, because there were sometimes that Emilio and you moved at the same time, Randall.
Yeah, and that was one of the reasons for splitting it up too, is so that we had 2 players moving their forces at the same time to speed up the play a little bit.
But
As compared to one guy doing, 2 companies all at once, it slows it down.
Yeah, I mean, even on our side, we still had a dictate it first. Like I told you guys in the beginning, I will move first, always will, and my command binary moved first always. Whether it actually moved any inches is another story out of the box, but
yeah, you had a lot of standing still going on your side.
Oh yeah, I mean, coming up on that hill, there was no way I was giving up that real estate. It's like, I mean, yeah, TMM of +1, but we were doing extended ranges, so it was what, a +6 for extended range?
Yeah, +6 and
+1 for
whatever,
7.
and everything.
What's your skill of your unit? I mean, the odds were in my favor that even if you guys did hit, you would maybe only do 1 point of damage for it, versus my own force would probably do 2 or 3. Just my dice rolls for on my side of the table with that Omega Trinary was just, those Rifleman 2Cs are just nasty. Period.
Yeah, not real tough, but they hit hard.
Oh yeah, 5 points of damage at long range and 4 points at extended.
Yeah,
it's 9. If you hit the same target
the thing
over and
I
over,
noticed though, the thing I noticed though, and that's one of the reasons why I did not like the extended range being used, is because I had very few mechs that did more than 3 at long range. So that's 2 points at long range. And I had a lot of mechs that did 1 at long range. So 0 at extended range. And to me, it wasn't worth the attempt. And that's why I tried it. I didn't have very fast mechs either, or else I would have definitely moved up a little faster than I did. But it is what it is,
I'm really surprised by that.
You guys, let's talk about that a little bit. So round 1, you had the Clanners had Gifton's force pretty close to us, so we knew that was going to jump. So we didn't want to give them a whole bunch of free back shots. So we moved up cautiously round 1, and everybody did their standard movement so they could get shots. And that was when I moved my company over to his side, just in case for some reason we didn't mop up the floor. Yeah.
I saw your guy all the way back there. There was no way I could get to him. It just wasn't going to happen.
Sunder? Yeah, there was no way. He was surrounded by every heavy boy I had.
Yeah.
Even if I could jump, I couldn't land anywhere.
Yeah. So, so I shifted that way. Gifton, what was your mission on that first round, and what did you accomplish?
So during the first round there, I was just, if I remember correctly, I was just looking, being like, okay, what position can I move some of these guys into? Maybe start taking a couple pot shots and start slowly whittling you down as you come to me before I think I was waiting for you to move forward so I can get those elementals into your lines and hit those back shots, just like you were saying, so that I could get behind you, and then just deal as much damage as I possibly could, and just try and soften your forces up before they hit the rest of the clan force.
Yeah, so you threw out, a sacrificial star that basically just ran in, did a bunch of back shots, and then died?
He put a full trinary out there. 2 of his stars were put up. His Striker Bravo and Striker Alpha were put up front to do that, along with the elemental star. And he had his command star use as, all right, I told him when the wave hits you, pull this star back. As you're withdrawing, snipe the shit out of anybody that you can do. So he did it right.
Oh yeah. And it was effective because it forced us not to sprint. And our job was to close the distance so that we could shoot at, long range instead of extended range. And we couldn't because that force was pushed forward. I do SCA combat, and this is something we call one hero forward. So you might have a very small force, say 3 guys, step out in front of the entire army, and you'll see the entire army stop in place because they're not sure what to do with these 3 guys. And meanwhile, the rest of the army is doing its maneuvers to get into place. Now, those 3 guys are destined to die. But eventually, the army on the other side realizes, wait, it's just those 3 guys. Get them.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what this tactic was. Get them out there, prevent us from being able to move, keep us out of our formation that we wanted to be in. And that did break up that our right side, their left side. So our right side kind of got split up as a result of a couple mechs going down and being damaged, so we couldn't have this coherent front line at that point.
Yeah. And
So
I'm actually wondering, Randall, perhaps we should have talked with Emilio and let him know that we each had an artillery mech in our forces. Because I think if he would have called for artillery fire support, both of our mechs of that type were in a position to beat the living shit out of that little forest that Giff was in.
Yeah, the one that Emilio started rushing my guys in, and we just had a little bit of a brawl before that started completely. One.
Well, we did, but we allowed Emilio to fire first, and he pretty much wiped out that star. So there was no legitimate.
Not Emilio.
No, Emilio on our side.
Oh, I see.
So when it came to our turn to shoot, Emilio got first fire, and I think Jose, you had second fire. So what we ended up doing with our, we had 2 Obake Monos, so we had 4 Arrow 4s being fired into the air. So instead of firing them with indirect fire, because we didn't have any spotters at that point, we just fired them into like over the 42-inch range. So that the arrows were floating in the air. Now we've got 4 arrows that are going to land the next round. The goal was then to get something tagged with our multiple tag units. So then we would have 8 points of damage coming in from that one, and then we'd have 8 more points coming from a second volley that was within range. So 16 points of damage potentially coming. Unfortunately, round 2, we still weren't close enough, so we had a whole bunch of arrows that just went off into the ether and didn't get used.
That right there, I knew you guys having the artillery was going to be like, gosh, I'm going to have to wear it, and it didn't hit. It never became a factor in the game because, 1, you guys didn't get enough spotters up front. 2, I didn't let you get tag units up front fast enough. That's where that human TRO comes into play.
Well, it was tag. You know all the stuff.
It is what it is, boys. I mean, you guys have been playing long enough with me that you know that I can identify which units have what. How a player gets that way, grab the TROs and just read them. Take and grab the ones from the Clan era and just open up the record sheets and study what the weapon systems that they have on those units. That's how you become a TRO specialist in a game. Now, I've played so many classic battle games. My problem is identifying units that are in later era as far as capabilities, but then once I see the lethality of that unit, gauge it on my scale. Should this unit be eliminated or that unit? You know, it's crazy.
So by about round 3, that's when we were close enough that Gifton's second force did its move. So we were kind of munching again at standard movement, which was giving you time with your backfield guys. So once that happened, Gifton circled around. He had really good level 2 terrain that was blocking his line of fire, so we couldn't hit him first 2 rounds. By round 3, we were in the ambush zone.
Yep.
What'd you do, Gifton? That was really effective.
Well, that's when I took them and I just rushed around that terrain and I went, okay, where can I put these guys and where can I drop off all of that battle armor and let them just wreak havoc and say, okay, I know we're gone, but this is the point. This is the mission. We just soften, and we just go as long as we can.
Yeah, and you ended up taking. So that round, we lost what 4 units.
Yep.
2 of which were from the command.
Yep.
Yeah, it might have been 5 units, but 2 of them were from the command land, if I remember right. I know one of the Nodachis or whatever got severely foobar.
Yeah.
Ooh.
He was
And I'll tell you
retreating
this,
after that.
I totally forgot that was the command element for the 8th Sword of Light. I'm not lying. I just saw the 2 Nodashis and I said, target those things because they got katanas, dude. They're going to slice and dice you.
They hurt you.
Get rid of
The
them.
Gifton was able to get back shots, critical hits with the battle armor. They had free critical hits, and then there was the stripping of armor that gave them extra critical hits. That command lance was pretty well decimated at that point.
I think I had one of the units left after that. It was the other one of the Nodashis, and that was it.
Right.
Yeah.
And to add insult to injury, we got to the very end, and there was still 1 battle armor that was still alive, and I finally rolled enough to hit it. I was like, damn it.
Yeah.
You survived this round, but he almost did.
He drew
I
all
just
your
remember
guys'.
so many shots.
Exactly. I mean,
Okay.
Giffen turned on and wore both you and Jose's shots. Both you guys went after Giff, and there was nothing that I could have done to help alleviate that oof, that's gonna hurt. I mean, for a player to go, all right, I know my force is gonna get slaughtered. Let me fight with honor, and Giff pulled it off to a T. Excellent play, sir.
I agree.
Play.
That was very well done. And I think you had to leave after that anyway because of your schedule. So it was
Yeah.
pretty good timing.
I'm here to die quickly, and I'm gonna leave.
Yeah. Get him out. Eject.
For the honor of the clan!
Yeah.
Exactly. You know, so I mean, I'm glad that it's that overall that all of us had a lot of fun with this. But now we're over the hill, Randall. You're starting to hit my lines. We're in turn 4. What's going through your mind at this point?
Yeah, so at this point, we are still at extreme range to the vast majority of your force. We got a couple of your guys on our left flank that are retreating over open terrain, and I'm doing what I can with my my long range damage guys, but I don't have that much. At that point, myself, Emilio, and Jose basically all said, okay, we all need to sprint everybody who can't shoot at extreme range.
Right.
So
This is what we did.
yeah, that's what we ended up doing. The previous round, however, Emilio kind of jumped the gun. He got a couple of his light or medium mechs and ran them up forward, which did give us a couple spotters. But when you have 10 clan units that are shooting back, and you've got 6 or so medium mechs out in the open field, guess what?
They don't last long. They don't last long.
They were splattered pretty quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was definitely a shock to see him jump the gun. I saw the jump.
Yep. So he moved a little bit too quick on the previous round. The following round is when I was able to get my my tag units and my C3 slaves up into the battlefield, and I tried to keep them behind cover at least medium range from the front line of yours, because you had multiple levels. You had I think Steven moved up a bunch of guys into the woods or behind the hills.
Yes.
There's some woods and hills right up front that we're trying to get to. And Steven had moved up there. So I was able to move one of my C3 units into short range of something like 3 of those guys. So that's when my company was able to take advantage of that short range and just boom, 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 boom. And that was extremely effective. In addition, they were in medium range at that point to the guys behind them. The problem was I had guys that were in long range who were now shooting at extreme range, but using the medium range modifiers. So my damage output was still only like 2 points.
Yeah.
It was it was enough to start tink, tink, tink.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
thing about the tinking, it starts to wear down after a while. Don't sell yourself short. You guys had what you had. Try to effectively use those units to do as much as possible.
Right.
I really think that turn 3 and 4 was the pendulum had swung decisively in my favor to try to do some things. This was the opportunity. This was the moment for me to, so to speak, like counter strike what you guys were trying to do.
Right.
And Emilio coming running around that corner. Oh boy, I felt bad for him.
Yeah. Yeah, and then the following round was the last round that we ended up doing. And we still, because of the delaying action, because of Gifton's sacrifice on the battlefield slowing us down, we still didn't have our big hitters in range enough to really turn the tables at that point. And that was the round that you had to withdraw.
Yeah, and I think you even said, Bradley, that if we would have continued playing it out, you probably would have lost half your force, and we would have lost half of our force before we would have finished off the game.
Oh, yeah.
Now, the one thing,
go ahead.
The one thing I would have changed in our tactics near that, so probably the round before, probably should have had a spotter spotting artillery stuff against your command lance that was up on that hill, and then we could have had those 4 just standard artillery rounds coming down, just to at least make you move, because that -1 to hit from you not moving, plus you hiding behind cover that we couldn't take advantage of, was brutal.
I really do believe that if, like, when Emilio came rushing at me, if artillery was dropped at turn or the turn before and pushed those forces off those hills, he would have been in turn 4, would have been up on the hills, and I would have been eating some spotters coming at me. At that point, you would have been in my face. That's why I said at that moment I saw in turn 3 and 4 that the pendulum swung in a favor. Because the artillery, in my mind, was not used in a way that I felt would have been more tactical, better. Because you're on the other side of the table, you and Jose are, and Emilio's over here. Emilio could have used that artillery as covering fire, so to speak, you know, but it didn't happen that way. You guys went with the tag, and you try to get in there and try to hit with the units with tag, but they wind up getting out of range or taken out, and that kind of nullified that ability. But you still could have used some standard artillery strikes on those hills and got me off.
Yeah, and probably the first round we should have done, you know, standard artillery attacks. It was out of range to land in that same round, but it would have landed the following round.
Exactly.
But yeah, you still would have had to at least abandon your position momentarily, at least.
It's definitely, I mean, my biggest worry and concern was, of course, you guys did have 4 arrows coming, and I knew you had tag.
And there was no way you were getting to them. We made sure of that.
There was so much tag out there. It didn't matter.
Because every time a tag unit went up front, boom. Okay, he's dead.
8 points of damage plus direct fire. Yep.
Yeah. So nope. I think you guys did actually corral a mech that way too. I do believe one turn.
I think I took out Steven's war
commander. Yeah. No, his commander was the
Gladiator.
Oh, Gladiator. Yeah.
Yeah. That one. Yeah. He stepped forward.
But that Gladiator Prime doesn't have a good long-range fighter anyways. So he brought him down to fight and get, all right, I got to get these guys off the hill. I told him, I was like, get ready to get off that hill. You're going to get bum rushed. You're in assault mechs. You're not going to get very far. But try to be at least 1 turn or 2 turns more holding those positions to where you can't get flanked. And by that turn, we would have been, there was no way we were going to hold the field. I'll be telling you the truth.
Oh yeah.
Did I think that my army was going to stand the ground and just slaughter you guys in the open terrain? No. I knew you guys were going to get up in our face and push us off the hills, but I was trying to make in Napoleon's old days the butcher's bill high for you guys. That was the ultimate.
Had we done 1 or 2 more rounds, that's when I think the real numbers would have started shifting.
Yeah.
And we would have seen what the death count would have gone skyrocketing at that point.
What was it? Emilio lost a company and
Emilio lost
another
half.
almost lands.
He lost almost close to 16 mechs.
Yeah.
He
I lost a
was
total of
really,
6.
He was really trashed by the time he came through that opening.
Yeah.
He just
And
didn't
I don't
have
remember
it.
how many you lost, Randall.
I think I lost a lance. They were all of my mediums with the tag.
Yeah.
Yeah, by that
not
round, we would have had to switch over to traditional artillery because we only had like 2 tag units out on the field after that.
Yeah.
And I give credit too when I talked to Steven. I wish he was on tonight, but he couldn't, so that's understandable. But I had given him when I was giving out forces to Steven, and I originally had Ron. When Ron couldn't come because he had family emergencies that came up, and I had Giffen come on board, I still told Steven, "You're going to get the crown jewel of my force. You're getting binary 10 mechs." He's like, "You kidding me? This is my force? Are you serious?" I was like, "Yes, it's time for you to be the brick wall." And he loved it. And he goes, "What should I do, Brad?" I was like, "Dude, pick out the biggest and nastiest thing you see on the table and just drill it. An assault mech, don't waste your fire on light mechs and medium mechs. Hit the heaviest things you can hit because you got some brick throwers. That Massacre Prime definitely was some brick throwers. The A, the Dashi A, Madcap Prime,
Gladiator A.
I mean, he had everything. The Night Rider. You know, I mean, his army, his 10 mechs were literally my long-range guns. And I told him that cherry, anything that comes over that hill, drill it. Whatever it is. It's an assault mech, heavy mech, kill it. Just take it out. And he did. And I think it was his shot that actually got you, Jose, in your last Nodashi, which causes us to get our marginal clan victory.
Yeah. Yeah, because once he went down, that command lance was down, which is a shame. And I just tried to get in there to get 1 sword attack in, just one, just one.
Don't do it when your whole armor is all gone. You got only internal structure left. That doesn't help you when you're facing the clans.
Problem was, I think your team, Bradley, your team won initiative that round, and that was when Gifton was the last to move. So we had moved all of our units. No, I still had 1 company left. So I ended up moving. But the problem was Jose had to move beforehand, so he got jumped from behind.
Yep.
That game was so fun, dudes. I really appreciate all of you guys coming into it and wanting to play something this huge.
It was a pleasure, man.
As it was. You know, I think I made it as easy as possible, actually.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, it served multiple purposes. One, it shows, you can't do large battles in Alpha Strike. Got to have everything organized. Got to have an agreement on moving 1 for 1 for 1 for 1. It takes forever. Randall likes the notion of you move half, I move half. That can work too. Or you do it like this. You say, okay, I got 36 units and you got 36 units. That's 3 companies and you got 3 companies. Move a full company.
Yep.
Who cares that you moved 12 units and now they are moved and the enemy can either move to shoot those 12 or they can react. But now that's tactics playing. Don't stick those 12 up front to be shot by themselves. Because what's going to happen is they're going to get gang raped by at least by 16 mechs. Guaranteed.
Yep.
You know, four lances will pulverize those 12. Easy.
So what are some things that we've learned from playing this? And I guess I can start out first for my examples. So splitting up our forces so that we had 2 players moving their companies at the same time was a big speed enhancement. But once we started doing that, our rounds picked up. Second thing was we needed to be very precise about who your spotters were and where they were on the battle, because we didn't have spotters in the first 3 rounds for artillery strikes.
Yeah, they were useless the first couple rounds.
We just couldn't close the distance.
Yeah.
Now, as far as laying out the terrain, we had a 12-foot table. We ended up using maybe 8 feet of it, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We probably could have cut down that space and deploying things a little bit closer even. But that was the scenario also. You needed that space so that the clanners could back off if they needed to keep that distance. So in that particular scenario, had we had unlimited time, we needed the full table.
Yeah, it definitely, the game.
So that's some. I was just saying that's just some observations. One more thing: keep track of your critical hits.
Yes.
Once you start getting critical hits, you're running 3 companies, 36 units per player. It gets really hard to keep track of which unit got blown up, which one's this, and make sure you got different colors or stickers or flags or something on your similar units. I had 4 of the same thing. The what were they? The Komodos. Yeah. Like 4 of those, 3 Raptors, 3 Owenses, 2 Blackjacks. So everything started blending in together. So I was getting a little confused or which one I was
definitely put it on the back of the mech. Put like a 1
we
or
were
2
marking in the middle of
on the hex of it. That's a way of marking it. That way you know which is what.
That's one.
And that's what I ended up doing.
What I thought is that, where I learned, when you're running that many mechs combined, all right, trying to move a entire company, you need to work them together. The problem is since these companies were picked from us already from the actual Dragon's Roar booklet, we were stuck with whatever mechs were in those lances and those companies, and we really couldn't move them around, so that we had, let's say, a couple of lances of speedsters and a couple of slow-ass assault mechs in support of those speedsters and do tactics like that. So you either moved at your slowest rate or you hodgepodge it. And
that's what I had with my Sunder, my master. It had a Sunder, 2 Raptors, and a Strider. So 16-inch mover, a 12-inch mover, a 6-inch mover.
Yeah.
That was hard to keep them cohesive.
Together. Yeah.
You can't
So
come
that was the
speeding
one
across discombobulated as like a rat race. You definitely need to keep your unit cohesion together.
Yeah.
That's pretty hard.
But I've that's the hard thing for me to understand sometimes. I think I was able to do it for the most part this game, but there were some times I wanted to get my speedsters and get them running the hell out of there, and get them up close so they can spot at least.
I think
they didn't last long when I did.
Honestly, from a perspective of what I learned in this game actually played very similar to how Classic is, as most clan players will tell you. And the difference between Classic BattleTech and Alpha Strike is clan units lose the range game. It's gone in Alpha Strike. It's not there. You don't have the clan ER lasers going at 25 hexes going shooting at you because you can't hit back. There's nothing that hits back at 25 that's inner spear in that time frame. There's no inner spear weapon. The ERPC is only at 23, so all you got to do is just remember your first range contact and just keep moving backwards by 3 inches, and you're still maintaining that gap of the range between a clan weapon system and an inner spear. That's the only reason why we did play with the extended range. I don't think that it was a decisive as I wanted it to be, but it definitely helped a lot because there was a few times where we didn't connect the dots. I think I was more. Steven didn't so much, if I can remember correctly, because I remember asking him, I was like, how'd your 2 assault stars do over there? And he was like, ugh. I was like, alrighty. And I think didn't we play with SPA skills with this one?
We had a couple, yes. Like I had sniper on a couple of them. So 1 out of 12 could get an SPA.
Yeah.
So, and I had forward observer on a couple of them because of the lance ability.
Oh yeah, I meant to ask Steven, did he find it? Because I gave him the SPA skills to make his units with teeth really be able to bite you guys. I really think that
he did without any help. He didn't need any help. Okay.
He definitely was happy about getting those mechs. I wanted to give him a chance to throw the brick, so to speak. Yeah.
So on your point about the long range game, so my entire company for my C3 slave company, at long range, I'm doing 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 points of damage at long range. A couple of those could not do extended at all. So you're down to 12 points of damage possible. Versus your 5 mechs are doing 12 points of damage. So my entire company of 12 units versus your 5, damage for damage at extended range was about equal, I'd say. But that's only because we outnumbered you almost 2 to 1.
Definitely had the dice roll number.
When I looked at mine, and when I looked at my mechs, okay, on my sheet, when you said extended range and how it worked, I'm thinking 2, 3 mechs that make it worthwhile. The rest of them, yeah, okay, whatever.
You got to think about this, man. When those mechs can't shoot at a target, you need to yell at them like, Forrest, run, Forrest. They got to sprint, dude. They got to
right.
Get your butt in range. The notion that if I had been playing the Draconis combined player, I probably would have started out the gate with my fast lance ability ones would have been stacked in front, or I would have put the assault mechs actually up front, their lances up front. So when they step off, they can go 9 inches, because you can't really fire at that range. Really can't do too much, so you might as well just go ahead and sprint that whole first turn.
And that would have been fine, except Gifton had his force that we knew was the ambush. We had to at least have a company that was sitting back specifically to counter.
Having way tactically, I looked at this was, how would I attack the clan? And I looked at the map and I looked at it and I was like, oh, somebody's going to own those hills before I can do anything effective with it. And if they get over one side or the next, it's over with for the clan player, So I figured right away somebody was going to have to get up there and be the sacrificial lamb. Somebody was going to have to wear it. Somebody was going to have to get up there and this is my final stand.
And to your point, I think so my side of the table could have sprinted completely because we weren't in threat. Now Emilio's side got ambushed right off the bat. A lot of his units ate a lot of damage. So yeah, I could have sprinted round 1, possibly round 2, but at the same time we still had to give something that was going to threaten you so that you didn't, because the gifted second wave hiding right over that hill, we couldn't give them a free pass to just jump behind us because we lost.
Yeah, because there was that 1 star on the other side, on our side of the map, Randall, that was behind the hill.
Yeah.
That one was the one we were worried on our side. What were they going to do?
That was the heavier one too, I believe, if I recall correct.
Yeah, it was.
It was definitely a game where you just can't just move across the table. You still had to think tactically. What can we do to make our situation better? You guys definitely got a speed bump. You dealt with it. It lasted longer than what I gave it credit it would do. One turn, maybe two. You know, I was happy to see round two, something was still over there. That means you guys had to still react to something over there. It stopped you from going, turn two, we're now on the hill. Turn three, we own the hill. You guys are still fighting for the hill. In turn three, you didn't own it. And that is what I try to achieve.
Yep.
But unfortunately, like you said already, Emilio jumped the gun and tried to come out, and he came out with his, I think it was his Charlie Lance and his Bravo Lance from Third Company, along with his Grim Reaper, and he tried to come open that through that thing because he did have the speed. But man, I got lucky with the hits from the two Rifleman 2Cs that were out there. Man, they just drilled those light mechs like they were nothing. I mean, like, boom.
Yep, that's what they do.
You know, so definitely, guys, we definitely need to do another one of these big things, and I definitely got the old PDF for the Battle of Huntress, and I definitely want to do something in that book. In the back of that one, you have the entire invasion force, what their mechs units were, through every man that was there, from the little S teams that were there. You get to see those. Morgan's Lions, you get to see them there. Was it the Knights of the Inner Sphere were there? Highlander regiments was there. One of the Lyrian units was there.
Highlanders were there?
Yes, they were.
Okay, good enough.
Force was.
But could it be the Highlanders that I bring, and not the Highlanders in the book?
You have to use what's in the book, bro. That's the thing about this, about these playing these things. You can't modify it at all. You're going back and playing really good battles that were put together, but there was just no way you could play this in Classic. I'm sorry, you can't.
But I finally broke down and painted one of my objectives boxes from the Mercenary Kickstarter, and they are now sporting the tartan of the Highlanders.
Awesome. That's the one with the turrets in them, isn't it?
Yeah.
No, that's something else.
No, that's the one that has the command vehicle, the hospital vehicle.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Or the mass truck, and then the big gun.
The long tom.
An ammo truck. Yeah.
All right. Let's take a look at what else is coming down the pipe. So that kind of wraps up what we were talking about with this particular event. So what else is coming down the pipe? What have we done in the last month, and what's the next events we got planned?
We as a podcast have got something going down, but we're not really in the liberty of getting too much details. We're going to be
discussing
around and trying out a little our own style of tournament, but this time with a lot of let's open the floodgates. That's about as much as I can say about it right now. We're in the testing phase of it. I'm looking that if it's successful, that we're going to turn around and maybe do this as an actual tournament in one of the game stores and give it some good grounds with this. That's what I'm looking to do in the next 2 months or 3 months from down the road from now. I definitely want us to look at this with all right, let's play with more, because I think you can do this in a tournament. I really do. I think that
large scale tournament's going to be interesting.
It's anybody can play a small battle, 350. Okay, it's nothing wrong with it. I love it. It's quick strike. It's fight. It's usually roughly 2 lances fighting. If you're really savory with your points, you can maybe get yourself with 12 units on the table. You know, but it's still. To me, I want more. I want to take you from being the Lance Commander to a Major. You're now in a command. Your objectives are set forth by your colonel, who says, all right, Major, take your battalion and go get this city. Go get these objectives. Go get these, and we're going to give you the support. We're going to give you the ammunition you need, and we're going to give you the skills you need to turn on and accomplish this. So we're going to get a definitely good test on that. Got Jose here, who's going to do that with me this Saturday. We're going to test this out.
I'm the sacrificial lamb.
Yep.
Guinea pigs.
I'm the guinea pig.
He definitely, he's got the meat hook on this, but there's some things. This isn't a simple slap around game. This is you have to do objectives in it. You're playing with a big battle, and I think it honestly can be done. I'm definitely going to say the instigate of like at least a minimum when it comes to your turn to move, 2-minute window. You got to be fast. You can't be lollygagging about moving which force is what. You know, you play these big battles. I want you to sit there and look at the table. When you set it down, your army on the table, I want you to look at the objectives and go, okay, what my force is built like this. How can I achieve these objectives? And boom.
Yeah.
I think that's something that's good coming down. Plus, we're going to be diving into this Battle of Hunters, which, by the way, do you guys have those PDFs by any chance?
Yeah, I've
Yes.
got it.
Yeah, they're definitely next thing is coming, and I definitely am going to be getting more into it because they don't have anything this big. They didn't put it in there, but they definitely put some battles, key battles that were in the invasion wave, the first wave for when the planet is actually starting to be invaded by the Star League Defense Force, and whatnot. So I think we got some good coming down from that, and I'm going to do that at Critical Hits. What do you got going on, Randall?
Up here in Spring Hill, we've got Plot Armor Games. We just had a blind box tournament using the 350 tournament format. So that was a good success. We only had 6 guys, but for the match that we did, ended up Brian Zeno and his kid Kai ended up taking first and second place. So Kai got first, and Brian got second place.
Go figure.
Yeah, well, we almost had to go to a rock, paper, scissors to figure out second place. It was a 3-way tie for second place. So next up, right now, we're still doing our campaign game with the Spring Hill Irregulars, wrapping up the first mission, and then we're going to be moving on to the Clan Invasion era. So we started with the 30-39 time frame, and as the first mission is kind of training wheels.
Randall, real quick.
Mission.
For your campaign, did you you don't have to go into detail right now, but did you get everything figured out for the clan perspective?
Yeah, so I'm still working on that. So the mercenary campaign book, Blood, Money, and Steel, is available on Drive-Thru RPG for free. You don't have to pay anything, but I appreciate any donations that y'all do. And several people have given me some donations, so I definitely appreciate it. That's a big help for paying for art and stuff. But it is a mercenary campaign, and one of the things that I wanted to do is expand that to clan campaign. So I am building out the economics and model of how the clans might do a mission, because you're no longer constrained to your personal budget. You're now part of an army that says, Star Commander, achieve this mission. Go do this. And here's the resources that we're allocating to it. We've got some good ideas. For example, if the mission calls for, say, 500 PV, and you decide to take the mission for 10% less, so you're taking 450, you'll get an extra point of reputation, assuming you achieve your mission.
That's good, dude. I like it.
Things like that. That's kind of the thought process. The next thing we're doing at Plot Armor is each month I'm going to be hosting and co-hosting a learn and play session. So the second Saturday of every month, I think, is what we're aiming for. Third Saturday of every month, we're aiming to do this thing. Basically, new players, invite them to come out. I'm going to have a classic BattleTech box set and Alpha Strike, and I'll have at least 2 armies for both. And somebody comes up and they say, hey, I've never played before, great. I'll teach you. So just trying to grow it. And we know that up in here, we've got a lot of people who are buying the product, not a whole lot of people, new faces showing up for the tournament, because I think it's just too much for them all at once for your tournament.
Yeah.
But an open play is going to be much more casual. It's going to be more training wheels type of thing.
Yeah.
But that's what I got right now.
That's good. What about you, Jose? What you got going on?
At Armada, I've pretty much taken over for Connor since he rarely shows up now. But what I've been doing over there is the Lorenzo and Daisy, because of his work schedule, he works for the Amazon distributor. He cannot make it there anytime during the week except for Mondays. So him and Daisy have been coming out Monday. I've been teaching them Alpha Strike. I got them this last Monday to play a game on actual company versus actual company for the first time, and I introduced them to moving Lance at a time. They were at first a little nervous because they were playing a lot of Classic, and they liked the crunch of it. But now that they just totally said, when can we play our next game at 12 or 12? Maybe we should go bigger. What should I get next? All this kind of stuff. So we'll see what happens there. But that's been my teaching moment. And then, let's see, last Wednesday, not this Wednesday, but last Wednesday, I had a Classic event that I put on. Instead of the Steiner, we used the Davian Icefield map from the FASA. No, it was actually WizKids that produced these maps. They're larger than the Steiner Battlefield that came out with the Essentials box. And we had a choice of maps, and they decided they brought jumpers, so they didn't want to play in the Kurita battlefield, which is in tunnels. So you jump, you do the mass of your combat. Let's say you had a 75-ton Marauder. You jump. You're going to take 75 times 2 divided by 10 to the head. 15 points to the head. Oh, there's 12. You're dead. So they decided they didn't want to do that. So, which was pretty, fine. So we did Davian, which was interesting because that's an ice sheet. So it's difficult terrain. And walking, if you walk 6, you could only walk 3. Okay, 2, like if it was, you're going through difficult terrain. And it was funny because there's a hole on the map that goes down 8, the depth of 8. And there's no way to climb out of it with jump jets. And nobody took jump jets that can clear more than 4 or 5. So they couldn't jump out of it if they fell in there. And it was so easy for someone to forget about it, start running. And they're going, oh, by the way, this is a Classic map, so you're actually going downhill as you're running. You're picking up speed, and you have to make pilot saving throws per hex that you move past your walking. So if you're gonna run, and let's say you had a 10 walk, you walk 5. You're rushing, so you're gonna walk another 2.5 or 2 spaces. You had to make 2 saving throws. If you fail, slip and slide. It was hysterical. It was hysterical. Yeah. It was absolutely hysterical. I was laughing. We were laughing our asses off. And it was funny because we got a crowd that don't normally show up. That showed up because it was Classic. And we had a bunch of people that were watching us play that game. And the size of the map is almost double the size of the maps that we get in the current boxes for most of the boxes. And it was really interesting. I enjoyed it. We're going to probably do that once every month and a half over there. And on a Wednesday night. Last night, Fabrice, also brand new to Alpha Strike, was the first time we played a game with more than 6 mechs in it. And we went 8 mechs out of side. I brought Comstar. He brought he called it his Lyrian guards, multiple colors. No idea if they're Lyrian or not, but they look good. And we went after each other. He forgot about my Highlander. I was telling Bradley, he forgot about my Highlander, so ignored it. My only assault mech. And he took out, next thing I know, he has a a Sentinel. Yeah, it was a Sentinel going against my Highlander and my King Crab. All the other mechs were gone off the battlefield, or had. Yeah, it was fun.
How do you forget about 2 assault mechs? Come on, man. They're right there.
I had a lot of mediums and a couple of heavies, and a mongoose that was a light, and the mongoose gave him hell because I kept going everywhere and spotting, indirect fire. I introduced them to a lot of little tiny concepts.
All right.
Good. That's a great format to introduce, new rules. So if you're doing Alpha Strike and you've never played with aerospace, add 2 aerospace, and just that's what you're going to focus on. Yeah, or artillery, or whatever the concept is that you're trying to work on.
Yeah. So I'm gonna bring it in slow. Lorenzo asked me what's the next box he should buy, and I gave him a choice between the vehicle box with the LRM and SRM carriers, or the rifle and command box, which has the Shrek, the Strumfurter, Herzer, and I don't know what the fourth. I don't remember what the fourth. Those 2. That way he says, you pick them both up or pick one of them up, and you'll be able to handle any mixed force that comes at you. It depends what you want to do. I said you pick the one up if you want to fight back with missiles. If you want to just shoot the crap out of someone with ACs, okay, get the other box. But it's interesting because we actually had about, when was this? January. A guy came in and he asked the store owner, do you have any of the mercenary stuff that just came out on the Kickstarter? He said yes. The guy went back, he cleaned them out of everything. He only took one of the mercenary boxes, but all of the combat vehicles, all of the mechs that he had left, he bought them out. He spent $500.
It's an expensive hobby.
Right there. Well, if you buy that much, yeah. I mean, but the way Lorenzo's doing it, a box here, a box there.
If it was GW, it would be 2,000. So we're good.
Yeah.
All right. My question is to Giff. You still there?
Yeah, he's still here, but he's on mute, I think.
There we go.
All right. So, what's the next type of game that you want to get involved in, sir?
Ooh. I'll be honest. That's a bit of a loaded question, but I've had a large background in role-playing games, so a campaign system of some sort would definitely be something that's in my mindset. But I do feel like I need a few more smaller games before I want to shift into something so grandiose.
Well, here's the thing. We can show you that we have through Randall's campaigns that he helped create it. We actually have a pretty good put together campaign that we do play at at Critical Hits. Definitely let's.
And you can start really small.
Absolutely, small potatoes, dude. So it would be something easy to get you involved in.
Was that part of the Blood and Steel that you were mentioning earlier, Randall?
Yeah, yes. Blood, Money, and Steel. Yep.
Gotcha. Okay.
That's the campaign. It takes you from basically building your force. There's videos too that I put out on Rumble, and it kind of gives you the overview of what's different between individual play versus campaign play, and it does have those role-playing elements where you're skilling up your pilots. You're getting them special pilot abilities. You've got your management of your budget. It's pretty in-depth, and I got lots of house rules. So if you wanted to use like coolant trucks in your force, you can use that. I got alternate ammo for days. I just found out there's more alternate ammo out there. So I'll probably be picking my brain later on and adding some of those to the next revision.
Yeah, Giff, you definitely want to get that, dude, and it's definitely once you get a hold of it, message me and we'll set up a game, dude, to get you introduced into it and let you play a campaign setting.
Yeah, just tell us the PV of a force you've got, and we'll match it.
Easy.
Yeah, and you can start small and start with 200, 300 PV for your force, just to say, hey, this is what I've got. And you're used to playing 300 PV forces anyway. So that's going to be easy. Now you add it to a battlefield with a map, and you've got certain objectives you're trying to pick. Attack. And you may be doing some cat and mouse stuff with the opponent's forces. It makes it interesting.
We played a big campaign battle once before at 2,600 apiece. That was fun.
That was against Ronald, right?
That was definitely our first big battle that we played with large numbers of troops. So GIF, get that campaign book, bro, and eat into it and go, okay, if you got questions, hit me or Randall up or even Jose, and we can point you in the right direction with this and get you squared away. Don't worry about trying to come out with like, I gotta be big. No, dude, we can play small battles.
No.
You're still learning. I'm not there to make you try to learn how to play big style games yet until you're ready to climb into that. When usually what we'll do is we'll hook you up with one of the other players to play the small battles, and then when you want to learn how to play the bigger style battles, that's when you fight me and you learn, and I teach you. Hey, do this for this campaign. Do this for this campaign. Have these for your campaign. That's when you're going to really start getting into nitty gritty. So like we have repair crew members to help fix your stuff, modify your stuff, load your ammo, take care of medics to take care of your wounded troops that can't fight forever. You know, they get wounded, they're out of action for one turn. You know, it's real.
Yeah.
Rock solid. So it's right up what you're looking for.
You have a chance. You have a chance that one of your pilots, your mech pilots, is killed, you know, or captured. You have to pay ransom, stuff like that. There, it's pretty close to a narrative game. You give out your pilots' names.
Yeah.
Period.
Yes, sir.
Make you more tough before you lose it.
Watch watch your skunk ape pilot crash and burn and go, no, I just skilled him up.
That happens. Oh, and by the way, if you roll that you're going up against Kurita, I'm your guy. Bradley's your guy if you play against Davian. Although I have a Davian force, but most of those mechs are Clan era, so I don't think that'll be a good idea.
No.
You know,
You can always sub out.
Well, it's all era specific. So if you're in 3025 tech, then your opponent is likely to be 3025.
You start off with the low end grade stuff, Gyphon.
Yeah.
That way you're not overloaded. The stuff that's like old ancient tech from 3025, it's very stripped down. You don't have tag, you don't have probe, you don't have recon, you don't have anti-missile system, you don't have ECM, you don't have any of those things.
Anything. Most of the cards are blank in the special abilities.
Or you could start in Clan era.
Absolutely.
And there's the potential for having everything on the table. But the idea is that the mercenaries start 25 years before. So say you're doing 3050 era. The year is actually 3050. You start with 3025 tech. As your reputation goes up from succeeding missions, you get closer and closer to your actual day, the actual year. So eventually, after you hit 25 reputation points, you're matched up with your gear.
And your pilots increase in skills as they go along. You know, I mean, you
not all of them.
No, not everybody.
Read the rules.
Only a certain
not all
percentage.
of them.
He'll see that in the rule book. You know, so it's like, hey, you got smart because you were able to ping away at enemies this turn. Ping, 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 ping. But definitely get that book, bro, and hit us up. We'll be more than glad to introduce you to some campaign. That's an easy fix.
Absolutely. Yep. It might be a little bit just because life is hectic right now, but that's not going to stop me from
when you're ready,
reading it.
We're ready.
Yeah, agreed. Yep.
And the great thing is, it's a one-on-one game, so it's like, hey, I'm doing a campaign, so I need an opponent for this mission. Yep. And sometimes the mission is I land, I hit my objective, I get out before the opponent was even able to attack me. Other times it's much more in-depth. Right now I'm doing a 5-on-1 type of game. The 5 guys had a mission to secure other resources, which they started doing. But then I was able to hit them with my forces. Now, their initial force was 200 PV versus my 160 and 140 PV forces. But because of them trying to attack a fortress, I got lucky. That fortress had a really good garrison. And when they attacked that fortress with 2 of their forces as 400 PV versus my roughly 400 PV, it didn't work out for them. But our next fight, they retreated, and now they've got 3 forces ganging up against one of mine. So the reversal of fortune is about to hit.
Yep. Hey guys, we got about an hour and a half already in, so let's just go ahead and cut it off for now.
Yeah, I think we're done.
And I guess Bradley, next time we'll meet, we'll discuss what we're playing this coming Saturday.
We'll come to that another time. That definitely will come up, Jose. For right now, it's like I said before we get into any of that. Yep,
Top
absolutely.
secret.
No speaking about it in any shape or form, sir. You definitely are going to learn some things or two. And as you know, Griff, also, bro, I am a player that likes to teach players how to play the game. I'm not a player.
I was just kicking your ass.
Yeah, I'll mud stomp you, but I'm gonna make sure, hey, this curb stomping's not personal. Like, here's how to do it. I will help you learn the game better. That is always a thing that I will do, bro. But like I said, you did fantastic in this big ass battle, bro.
Agreed.
Well, thank you guys so much for just letting me be there and having a great time with that game. It was awesome. I mean, like I said, I was like, okay, 15 mechs is a bit much, but I think I can handle that. And then I just it was a little overwhelming when I just first saw it, but that was an amazing, very much at least the spectacle of just viewing that game.
So one last question for you. How did it feel looking across the scene, that sea of red?
It was thrilling and terrifying at the same time.
Okay, that works. All right, guys. Everybody have a good night.
Alrighty, guys.
I'm going to shut the recording off right now.